Hey everybody, this is Rodney Middleton. I was contacted by Maybee Hives to put this 10 frame medium and deep honey super brood chamber box together. They sent it to me and now I am opening the box. Just as they sent it, comes complete. Comes with the instructions. They have all your frame ends, your instruction manual, www.maybeehives.com is a website. Some people prefer 8 frame equipment. I run 10 frame, and there's all your instructions on assembly. Comes complete with the screws and the nails. You can do it with just minimal amount of tools. I use an electric drill and an air nailer because I put so much of this stuff together. It just is more efficient for me, and I have a jig to put the frames together with. Those are your tops, I believe. Your top bar, then you have your bottom bars. They go along the bottom, and you have your medium end rails for your frames, and you'll see the difference. These are deep. The top and bottom rails are the same, just the sidebars are different. Let's get all this stuff moved out of the way. We'll get down in the box. There's your screws. That's your nails for your frames. I was going to use screws anyway. There's your entrance reducer. Those are your medium honey super foundations. And here are your deep brood box foundations. They're all waxed. Okay, let's get into the box. Okay, there is the bottom board. It's all wax coated. Down here we have so much heat, I drilled 3 holes and put screens over them so the bees can get some air in them. It reduces bearding tremendously. Here's your ends for your mediums. There's the sides for your mediums honey super. They're all wax coated, they're dovetailed. The dovetail joints give next to no trouble for gapping. Plus it has the screws with it, so that makes it so much nicer. There's the end, that's the side and the ends for the deep brood chamber. I'll stack these over here. Let's see what's left in the box. Okay, there's our inner cover, and it's also wax dipped. That'll help protect it, and it doesn't have an upper entrance in it, which I don't run, so that's great for me. Some people like them, I don't. And here's the lid. It has nice galvanized tin on top of it. It's wax dipped also. And we have the queen excluder. That keeps the queen from laying brood up in your honey super. Alright, get rid of the box. Now let's start the assembly of the deep brood chamber. I'm going to move the camera up a little closer so you guys can see better. Get all the screws out. Set them to the side. And on these you have to make sure that you put them the right way, because you can put your handles on the inside. Trust me, I've been there. At least on these you could always take them apart and flip them around. Get your dovetails centered up. Make sure your orientation's correct. Just wiggle it and put a little gentle pressure, and it will just kind of go right into place. That end was a little tight. Probably the way I was holding it. It's got a little notch up there that fits with the top. Yeah, that fits much better. Take the other side, make sure your handle's on the outside and it's up. There's your little divots on the ends. It signifies the top. Line up your dovetails, and the wax kind of helps lubricate it where it'll slide together pretty easy. Just kind of tap it with your hand, and there you go. Now let's get the screws put in. I use a cordless drill. Be careful, because the wax on them will make them countersink way too deep sometimes, so you have to be careful. So I'll try a few and keep adjusting the chuck on it, the clutch, so that it'll kind of stop about at the right place. That's still too much. Let's make it a little less. Still too much. There we go. I'm having to do the voiceover because I used the wrong cord between the GoPro and the camera and the Rode microphone, so it didn't record any of my audio. Sorry about that. Just make it a little less still. And some kits, the screw that goes in the very top on the opposite side of where these screws go, it's shorter in some kits, but this kit, they're all the same. They're all the same length, so that's good. Just want everybody to see the actual real time that it takes to do this. And Sarah's Happy Hive, she's already done hers. I don't know exactly how. I don't remember how long it took her to do it. Yeah, that screw I just pointed at is the one that's oddball. It's shorter on some kits. I think this whole thing took me about right at 40 minutes to do, and that's even with recording it. So really nice kit, especially for beginners, because everything's there. If you buy that and you're ready to put a package in or install a nuke into it, just leave your honey super set aside until they fill up about 80% of the box on the bottom, and then you put your super on and let them work on it. Yeah, you put it on too soon, they usually won't build out the bottom box, and they'll just build the center of the super out, or it's just too much space for them to manage and keep warm. Alright, that one's done. Now let's get the medium one put together. It should be a little quicker because it's less screws. Lay your pieces out. Get them slid together. Like there's no glue required on this because it's a waxed hive. And on the waxed hive, it's the glue wouldn't work anyway. Alright, look how easy that goes together. The boxes are really square, truly square when you get them put together. Just keep zipping the screws in. I think when I get through, there's actually one extra screw. Believe it or not, I thought I missed one. I did. I'll find it when I go to put it in service. I have a cutout to do Thursday, so I think I'll take it with me and use it on that one. So they should be able to see it. With bees installed into it on Thursday. Looks like there's about 7 foot length of the wall, 16 inches wide and at least 4 inches deep. It's nothing but bees in this house, so it should do a good job on filling this up. Yeah, once I had the clutch set on the chuck there, it just made life easy and it just zipped together really fast. I had to make sure I was still in the frame. Just have the ones on this side and we're done. So 2 at the top, and I'll flip it over and there'll be 2 at the other end at the top. I guess I've already done them. Set that aside. Alright, now let's do the frames. I'm going to get my jig out here that I made Joey Rawls at Joseph Rawls Apiaries. He sent me the measurements on it. It's handmade, homemade. I made it out of 1x3 stuff. It's where I can make 10 up at a time. So I stack 10 together like that in the jig so they all stand up. What I do with them is I take them and stack 10 of them together. That way I can glue them and even them all up. Count them, make sure I got 10. Now I'll get the other 10. Stack them up. Get them all even. Then I take my glue. What do I do with it? Oh, there it is. That way you can get glue on all 3 sides of that all at one time. The end of it's kind of stopped up. It's not doing real well. Let's stop and clean it off. There we go. Get the glob out of the end there. And all lined up again. There you go. Make sure you get glue on all three sides. It doesn't take much. Just make sure you have it on there. If you don't glue them, they will come apart. The nail just not quite enough. Get it on both sides. Alright, now I'm going to stick them in the jig and get them lined up. Do the other side now they already have the glue on them. Stand them all up. Really makes making frames not so labor intensive. Then I take the bottom bar, just set all these over here. There we go. Cut the band off. There'll be 20 of these because there's the same on the deeps and the mediums. Some people that go foundation, let's turn the groove down, the slot, so the bees can police the beetles that like to get into them. I always turn them up because I use foundation in a lot of them. They fit together really well. You don't have to fight and force them to go together. That's a good thing. Some of them you gotta have to beat together with a hammer because the quality is so terrible. These last three done here, and we'll get them nailed together. I use my shop air and have the air nailer I have does nails or staples. Yeah, let's change it and go to the staples. I like the staples better than the nails because it gets 2 points going through, like 2 nails at the same time, plus the top of the staple helps hold them together. There we go. Already got that end done. If you ever use one, make sure you don't have your finger in the way of that staple, because if it pops out the side, it'll get you. Alright, that side's done. Alright, just grab the whole jig and you flip it over and they'll push up. For some reason these frames are a little thicker, the wood is, so the center jig doesn't want to go down in there right, so I think I'm just going to take it out, because once you get the bottom bar on there, they stay together. You don't have to really worry about it after that. So let's just take it out of there. There you go. Kind of like one of the words you don't want to hear a beekeeper say is "uh-oh" or "oops." Usually you dropped a frame or something. Bees are going everywhere. Those are fitting together really well. Just line them up and they slide together. And they'll push any excess glue that you have out. I've been using this same jig for years. I like once you make one, you'll appreciate it. It makes the job go so much faster. These last two, we'll staple them on the top. At least with the voiceover, you don't have to hear that loud air nailer. Sometimes you got to check if you think it popped out the side, because if it does, it'll cause you problems if it's on the outside. If it's on the inside, it usually doesn't bother anything if the nail comes out. On the outside, it'll want to drag on the box every time you try to put the frame in or take it out. So I'll take a pair of cutters and grab it and break it off, or it won't do that. Alright, let's get the foundation, the wax foundation. It's waxed really well. It reminds me of the triple wax stuff that you can buy. But I always place it in the bottom first and then roll it in the top, kind of way it'll bend and then pop into the grooves, and you can tell if your frame is straight by your gap at the end. If your gap's not straight at the end, well, here I go putting it in the top first. Well, that's not going to work. Get my rhythm here. Get that popped in there. Works pretty well. Just slide it in there until it snaps in that top groove, and check the squareness of your frame. We only have 4 more to go. Then we'll get into putting the medium frames together. Sometimes you'll overshoot it and you have to work it back up to get it in the groove. Worst case, you can just slide it all the way through and start over. Alright, should be the last one. Had a few swarms today, so let's get into this late this afternoon. Tried to do it after the sun went down and it wasn't shining directly on it. Alright, let's grab our deep brood chamber box. Did a nice job on putting their name and all on it. Let's stack these frames in here. Give them somewhere to go. Store them, because we're going to go ahead and get this hive completely put together. That last one in there, set it to the side. Now we're going to grab the medium foundation and set it to the side here. Put our jig back together. There's no top or bottom to the jig. There's no left or right. So I'll stack 10 of these together and do them the same way. That one was upside down. That way I can hold them and get the glue on them. That works real well. Like I say, the jig, you can do shallows, you can do mediums, or you can do deeps with it, with the 3-inch 1x stuff that I used. What you have is too long, you just run it through the table saw and skinny it down just where you want it. I didn't make sure this one was perfectly square when I put it together, but if you make one, make sure it's perfectly square, because it'll kind of make it finicky about setting in there to set your frames in. There you go, get it on all 3 edges. That quick, you do 10 at a time. I always put them up against the edge there to even them up. Alright, we'll get the bottoms. Alright, now that should be it. I'll start stacking them in here. I always do it with the bottom up because the top part of it is wider, and it helps stabilize them when they're sitting in the jig. I'm sure this doesn't have anything to do with Maybee Hives, but it's just a good thing to have if you have a lot of them to put together. If you don't buy them already put together, assembled. But you don't have it, and this kit doesn't come pre-assembled. In the brochure and instructions they send you with it, it gives you all of the different scenarios, all the different configurations, everything. Says you can get it assembled. You can get just 1 deep beehive kit. You can buy the 10 frame, 8 frame, 1 deep, 1 super, which that's one we have. You can get 2 deep 1 supers. You can get the deep with foundation, black or yellow. You can get the assembled beehive kit that has the bee hat and all your tools and everything in it. You can buy medium frames with yellow. It doesn't show that you can get black and medium for the foundation. Usually in Honey Super, you don't need the black. In the brood frame, I prefer the black because when you're looking down in the cells, you can see the eggs in the bottom, whereas you can't see them on the yellow very well at all. Especially, you're like me, you get kind of older. You can get a beekeeping tool kit. They have that available, and a beekeeping pro kit. Really well thought out. The only thing that I don't know is the test of time, how it's going to perform over time for longevity. I like the telescoping cover. That's what I use. The inner covers I use. The 10 frame deep and medium. The plastic excluders. It's just a really nice deal. Alright, we've just about got these put together. This time I didn't even attempt to leave the the center part in there, center spacer. Let's get these top bars put on. Last one, get that on there, and we'll nail them together, staple them together with the air stapler. Get these finished up. All right, now start putting the plastic foundation in. The mediums are a little tougher to get in because you don't have as much area to bend it to get it to snap under, but it still goes pretty good. Just gotta find me a place to push it and hold it. There we go. Alright, once you get all the foundations popped in, like I say, they're a little harder on these, so just have to be patient with it. Set all these to the side. Actually, I'll go ahead and stack them in the super box, medium. I had to do the voiceover on the first part because I used the wrong cord between the GoPro and the microphone. So, all right, they're all in there. I can put the other half of my jig up. That pretty much completes the assembly of everything. So at this point, we are ready to stack everything together. So we'll start with our bottom board, and here's our entrance reducer. It'll go somewhere along in there. We will take our hive body itself, our brood box, line it up. All right, there's your entrance reducer. And if you're just putting your bees in and you're getting them established, then you want to put the inner cover on with the lid. And I cover this up to keep the bees out from up in here. Just take anything flat, like a piece of wood or something to lay across there. Unless you want them to get out up in here. They'll chase hive beetles and everything else up in here if you let them. But when you're getting ready to put on your honey super, you put your queen excluder on to keep her from laying brood up top. Then you put on your medium honey super. Your inner cover. And your lid. At that point, you're complete. Good looking hive. Maybees. I don't have anything to say that's bad about them. Everything looks real nice. The fitment, the dovetail joints, the bottom board, the entrance reducer. Of course, I use a different entrance reducer. I use one that has adjustable slides on it, but that's personal preference. Well, all I can say is thanks for watching. I appreciate all my subscribers. Comment and let me know what you think. Thank you and have a great day.